Okay, this is another reaction video. This is 10 weird things Europe has adopted. Well, I'm kind of curious to see what they are. Please click like, share, and subscribe for Diane Jennings, and as well as down there for me. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. 10 weird American things Europe has adopted.
I know this is going to be really hard for people outside of the States to understand. Crushed ice, cubed ice, roundy ice. Now, I am very much in favor of a lot of this, but also some of it I'm a bit like skeptical. So today we are going to check out 10 American things Europe has adopted in recent years. Like me. No, I'm actually happy being European. I like to visit the United States. You know how you love chocolate and then you get too much chocolate and then you throw up? That's not actually happened
No, that's not happened to me either.
to me, but it was some kind of a metaphor I was going for. Globalization is a big thing. It is happening all around us. I think that the things that make us different are what are interesting. However, I do find it also very exciting how things that are working really well are being adopted in Europe from America, and vice versa. Things that are working really well in Europe get adopted in America.
I don't know what those are that are being adopted in America. Well, other than some of the stupid things. But I'm not going to go into that.
And we're going to look at some of those things today, the good and the bad. Speaking of good and bad, you know when you Google yourself? Oh, that's so vain. I Google myself. And
I never Google myself. I've never Googled myself before, and I'm not going to start.
okay, I'm going to go with the one that inspired this list. It's from another video. Do not discipline other people's children. Now, you've heard the term...
Yeah, that's... You don't... You don't discipline other people's children. If if another child is acting up on you or something like that, it's okay to say, knock it off, something like that. But you don't discipline other people's children.
It takes a city to rear a child. As that's how the saying goes. It takes a village to raise a child. I'm from the city. The mean streets teach you lots of things. I grew up in the mean streets of my cul-de-sac, so it wasn't quite as hardcore as I'm making it. As we know, America is a litigious place, and, people are a little bit afraid of being sued there, and so they just generally...
Yeah, we are. We're generally afraid of being sued. That is true.
Mind their own business, especially when it comes to other people's children. In recent years, it has also been adopted by Europe. You do not interfere with other people's children. You mind your own business.
Mind your business.
There are good things and bad things about this. I mean, I can imagine it took a little bit of the slack.
Well, think about it. If your kid is acting up, okay, and somebody else who you don't know grabs them or disciplines them or something like that, you're like, what the hell? Get away from me. Who the hell are you? Talk to me about, that's how Americans look at it, okay? It's not your business to discipline somebody else's child. It's just not. Stay, like she said, mind your own business, okay? And now, if they're bothering you, you can talk to the parents. Say, hey, can you get a hold of your child? I don't think that's out of the realm, but yeah.
Off parents knowing that other people were keeping an eye on their kids, but also you have your own notions about how you want to raise your kids, and somebody else interfering might not agree with your thing. So you do your own children. Yeah, look after them in your own way. The next thing on this list that Europe has adopted from America, and I actually think this is a really good thing, it's the doggy bag. When I started on this channel,
yeah, look, last night, yesterday, I was at lunch with a friend. I ordered some food for myself, and then I got a call from my brother who said, hey, do you want to come over for dinner? And, I intended to have a big lunch and nothing the rest of the evening, basically just like a snack for the rest of the evening. Well, I said I was going to come over because I hadn't seen my brother in a while. So I said I was going to go visit him, and I said, well, I've got all this food. I'm going to take it home and save it. So I took a doggy bag home with me and brought it home, and now I have it for my dinner tonight.
Coming up on 5 years at the end of this year, the doggy bag was a phenomenon that was a rarity in Europe. Nowadays, you can get a doggy bag pretty easily. It has become way more standard, certainly post-COVID. Post the apocalypse that happened in 2020, 2021, it has become way more standard to be allowed to take your food away when you leave a lot of it behind on your plate. And this is, of course, a good thing. It's better not to be wasteful. Also, I freaking hate cooking, so if somebody has maybe a lovely meal and they haven't finished it, it's nice to be able to take it home. Waste not, want not. And I never finish my savory. I will always finish my dessert. Another thing Europe has adopted from the States in recent years is air conditioning.
Yep, it's 90 degrees outside and I've got my air conditioning on.
And yeah, I know, it's wild. Air conditioning has become more and more of a thing in Europe in recent years. So much so, in fact, that certain countries have put caps on how cold you can make your store in order to save money on energy and electricity. There is a huge problem in Europe.
Now, I don't know about that. You know, you can in America, as long as you're willing to pay for it, you can set it whatever you want. And some places you go in, it's absolutely freezing. I mean, I know there was a time when my girlfriend actually, it's like 95 degrees out, or 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 30 or whatever it is in Europe, would bring in a jacket so she could wear a jacket inside so she wouldn't freeze to death because they had it so cold. But that's but air conditioning is nice.
Europe right now with the cost of electricity, and so in Spain, for example, they've brought in you cannot make your store colder than I'll put it up on screen here. Otherwise, you will face fines. Now, how they implement this, I'm not too sure. They haven't.
Yeah, where they have like a person come in there and check your, I guess if you're, they probably monitor the energy output. I'm guessing that's what it is. That's the only thing I can think of.
Actually really started to govern it yet, but it's interesting that it's a thing. You can't make your store colder than a certain degree. It makes sense. The next thing that has started to become a thing in Europe, and I know this is going to be really hard for people outside of the States to understand if you've always grown up there and you've never seen another perspective, it's tipping. A lot more European businesses expect it.
Yeah, that is something that in the United States. Look, yesterday, when I went to the restaurant that I went to, you leave a tip. It's expected of you, and no matter how much your bill is, you leave a tip.
A tip now, and the reason this is aggravating in Europe is because, for example, waiters, waitresses, who are usually like the core people, they get paid a decent living wage in Europe. It's always been the way.
Yeah, in the United States, you don't get a decent wage. Your money is really made on tipping. And that's why you want to leave. Well, it's better to leave cash than it is to leave a card tip, because a card tip, they get taxed. Cash, not so much.
I've always found if you go out for a big dinner, you should tip, but tip 10%. That's usually the thing here. Fortunately, it really hasn't gone extreme in tipping here, how much, but more and more you find people expect to be tipped here. There are a lot more tip jars in coffee shops and things like that, and I find me and my friends have become more inclined to feel like we should tip when we go for coffee or lunch. Now, tipping your hairdresser has always been a thing, or your beautician, but you will find...
Yeah, that's true. You tip when you get a haircut.
Like a taxi driver, an Uber driver will round up your fare now. They will not give you change if you physically give them cash, and you're like, can I get my change? They'll give it to you in 2-cent coins. Another thing, and actually I think this may have hit its peak and is now going back down again, but it's worth a mention. American people are not backwards about coming forwards, and a lot of times Europeans would describe it as bragging. In actuality, I think it's pretty cool. People are proud of what they've achieved in America, and they'll go out and put it out there. But around 2015, 16, 17, there was a huge flexing culture on the internet and on Instagram and stuff like that. And you would see people showing off what they have, what they're buying.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, I've never really noticed that in the United States, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, like I said, I don't know. I can't really speak for a lot of people that have the flex culture.
And this definitely made its way to Europe. There were Irish influencers showing off the expensive things that they had. But I do think Instagram flex culture is on the downturn now. I would be very surprised if Instagram is still big at the end of 2023. In fact, I kind of look at Instagram mostly now as the Facebook. It's Instagram's not cool anymore. People don't like the pose. A lot of us are going through a recession. It's not cool to show off, I have this and you don't. It's just not cute. It's not a good one.
It's downright tacky.
Another thing that Europe has adopted, and I think it's an interesting one because there are for and against debates on this. It's baby showers and gender reveals.
Now, again, that's something that I've seen those things, the gender reveals, or baby showers have always been a thing. Is you get together and those have been around since I was born in the 60s, in the 70s. A baby shower, that was something my mom would occasionally go to, and you get little things for the as far as gender reveals, that's a newer thing, and they have different things like when pink is a girl and blue is a boy and so forth. But it's something that I don't know if it's tacky or something like that, but it's it is what it. I mean, people want to know what kind of child they're having so they can buy for them. Now I do know a woman who was told she was to have a girl. It was a girl all the way, and so they bought everything pink, everything like that. When it came out, it was a boy. But that was 2000 and I'll say 2002, 2003. Maybe it's better now. They know it's gonna be a girl. It's a girl, not a boy. But that's what happened to her.
My generation of friends have started to do baby showers and gender reveals, and I don't know, I still feel a little bit like it's tempting fate a little bit. Like, a lot of times, it's sad to say, but things don't always work out with pregnancies.
Unsure what funny quote to put here to lighten the mood, so you get me, because I'm a ball of light and love.
And for me, I don't know, maybe it's an old school hang up, but I feel like it's bad luck. I'm just not super for it now. If any of my friends have had them, I've been like, this is super fun and everything, but also I'm not like, I feel a bit weird about them. Once the baby is there, let's all celebrate and give you an afternoon of freedom.
I kind of agree with her on that a little bit. Now my sister didn't know what her first child was going to be. Or her third child. Those were basically surprises. The first child she had was a girl, and the third child she had was a boy. And the middle child was the only one where she knew the sex of the child. It was a boy. So she had a girl and then two boys. So, so 1 and 3 were surprise. Number 2 was a known.
But yeah, that's just a me thing. Let me know below in comments how you feel about gender reveals and baby showers, if you think they are a good thing. I know some people argue that baby showers are good because you get to give the new parents to be all the stuff that they will need for the baby. But actually, I've also heard some friends say that when the baby comes along, there's not a whole lot of stuff that they actually need, and you'll end up getting like a lot of hand-me-downs from friends and things. So the next thing, and this is one that's come into Europe a lot in recent years, and it's one I've mentioned on lists before. It's very much a last 5 years thing that has changed. It's gift opening. When I was a kid, opening your presents in front of people at a party was very frowned upon. And the idea was that you were rubbing in potentially people's faces who didn't get you something as big as somebody else. Like, you were rubbing it in their face. It was just not good manners.
Yeah, that's not something I don't know a whole lot about gift openings, that you open all your gifts and fine. My feeling is when you get it, open it up. If people were there, great. If not, that's fine too.
To open the present, whereas in the United States, if somebody gives you a gift, you are expected to open the gift in front of them when you receive it.
Not necessarily, not all the time. I know that people want you to do that, but not necessarily. That's not always the way.
I guess the reason for this is grateful that you're thanking people there and then for what you got. Now, I think it started again with kind of Instagram-y kind of culture, that when somebody gives you a gift in Europe, people are opening them there and then. And now, you're a little bit confused when you get a gift. Should I open it now, or should I keep it for later?
That's usually what I'm like. If you got something, do I open it now or do I wait till later?
I generally find if it's a small enough group, you will open it, but you just use your judgment. The next thing, and I've talked about this before, but you will be surprised to hear the tide has turned on it. It's how we talk about floors. First floor versus ground floor. You guys have messed it up for us. It is confusing as all hell now.
Yeah, because the first floor is, look, in Europe, I know the first floor is, you have the ground floor, then you have the first floor, and then the second floor. In the United States, it's the first floor is exactly the one on the bottom, and then the next floor up is the second floor. That's just how we do things, okay? That's just how we roll, okay? I know in Germany, I know in other places in Europe, it's different.
In Europe. So traditionally speaking, in Europe, the floor you walk in on off the street is the ground floor, and the next floor up is the first floor. However, in America, the floor you walk in from the street is the first floor, and the next floor up is the second floor. Now, with all the new builds, people have started calling the floor that you walk in on, the ground floor, the first floor, because people be watching too much movies and TV shows. And now it's confusing. And now, especially when I'm in an elevator, I'm like, what floor? I don't know.
I'm confused. Which is it?
Curse you. It's really confusing now. The next thing, and this is what I am for, ice and drinks. Ice and drinks has become so much more popular in Europe in the last...
Now, when I was in Germany, and I got a double cheeseburger at Burger King, and I got a Sprite to drink with it, and it came without ice, and I was like, wait, where's the ice? I literally had no ice in my drinks until I went to Mannheim in Germany, where they had a McDonald's where they actually had a ice machine there where I could actually fill it with ice. And that was something that you didn't have in Europe. It's just something that they didn't give you.
Last 5 years. It's actually unusual when somebody brings you over just a can straight out of a cupboard. Don't get me wrong, it definitely does happen, but less so now. People are more inclined to bring you a glass with ice or have stored the drinks in some kind of fridge. Ice makers have become a thing in fridges in Europe. They have become way more popular. They're being issued in more standard fridges. Crushed ice, cubed ice, roundy ice, ice of all sorts. I think it's fun. Ice is fun. I definitely prefer soft drinks cold. So I am for this one. Toot toot. I don't know what that was. And finally, the number one thing. Actually, before I get to the number one thing, do subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this video. Leave a thumbs up. Put your favorite word in the...
Yeah, as well as mine. Please click like, share, and subscribe for me as well. I would very much appreciate it.
Comments. Mine is indubitably. That's my favorite word. Okay, on to number one. The number one thing that we have adopted from the United States of America in Europe. It is celebrating corporate holidays. Now...
Okay, yeah, that is something that, well, it looks like there's a lot more holidays in Europe than there are in the United States.
I am very much in favor of a lot of this, but also some of it I'm a bit like skeptical. So Hallmark holidays or corporate holidays like Valentine's Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day, they all have a nice reason to have them, and actually sometimes you just need a reason to celebrate. Sometimes it's just nice to have a thing.
Yeah, you have Valentine's Day, you have Sweetest Day, you have all kinds of days like that in the United States.
We're doing a fun thing today, but more so than ever you are guilted in Europe if you don't buy your mother a Mother's Day card. We have never been into Mother's Day in my house, or Father's Day for that matter. Sometimes I'll give them a card or something, but it's not.
Yeah, that's something we always, Mother's Day and Father's Day, is if my parents are in town, I bring them a card. If they're not, I just wish them a happy Mother's Day or a happy Father's Day.
A big thing. It never was until the last 5 years when people are like, oh, you didn't celebrate Mother's Day. I just buy my mom nice things sometimes. I felt like we didn't need a day until recently.
But I love you today and every day.
Also, on that note, a lot of the big holidays that were kind of more traditional or even religious. Now, we're not a strict religious family myself, but I was raised Catholic. Christmas is just commercial now. It's not about...
it's more than just commercial. It is way... I mean, Christmas is almost, Christmas literally starts in November in the United States. It goes all the way through Christmas Day. I mean, it literally starts... It pretty soon it's going to start in August.
religion at all. Easter, I think some people don't even know Easter is connected to religion. It's just about the chocolate eggs. I'm like, this is a good thing, but also I do enjoy tradition and culture. So yeah, again, I'm kind of like, let me know what you think below in the comments. I really enjoy hearing what you have to say about things. There are also things that I don't think we will ever adopt in Europe from the United States of America. So if you want that list, let me know. Do be sure to check out aura.com/Diane Jennings. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as far as other things that, one of the big things that I talk about on my channel is free refills of drinks, and like you get free refills in the United States all the time. You don't get free refills over in Europe, and that's probably one of the big things that will never be adopted in Europe. But hey, that's my opinion. But please click like, share, and subscribe for me, as well as right there, source for Diane Jennings, right there for me. I appreciate it. And for Diane Jennings, have a good rest of your day. 10 weird things, American things Europe has adopted. Thanks for watching.